Hey, what's going on YouTube? Welcome back to the VO2 Max channel. Sorry, let me adjust my volume there. In today's video, I'm going to do something a little bit different here. We're playing Diablo 4, as you can see. We're playing some Diablo 4 here in the open beta weekend. I figured I'd come to you guys with a build that I wanted to do. I love Frenzy. I've always loved the Frenzy Barb. Just ever since Diablo 2 came out, I've always loved Frenzy. Even though can't play it worth shit. That's kind of not the point. I think it's a fun build. I always enjoy doing it. I did it. That's my favorite build in Diablo 2 or Diablo 3 for the Barbarian, anyways. But yeah, I figured I should do a Frenzy build for, and by no means is this optimized. But I figure I'd do a Frenzy build for Diablo 4 since we're playing the beta here. So I'll go over I'll try and timestamp things as well for you guys. I don't entirely know how to do that, but I'll try and figure it out to make navigating a little bit easier for you. Okay, so first and foremost, we're gonna start out with Frenzy. Weird, you put Frenzy in a Frenzy build? Who would have thought that? Don't mind the extra points I have in here. You're gonna start out with 1 point. These are just 2 extra points that I literally don't know really what else to do with, and I can steal a little bit of extra damage out of Frenzy. So Frenzy, you're going to unleash a rapid flurry of blows, dealing X damage with each pair of hits. Every time you hit, you're going to increase your attack speed up to 60%. We're going to pick up the first and second of our upgrades here. The first one gives 60% bonus attack speed and also generates additional fury. And then we're going to go with Combat Frenzy to gain a little bit of damage reduction for each stack of Frenzy we have. And we're going to be stacking it up to 3 times. So that's 24% damage reduction. Now, all these percentages, I don't know what's additive, what's multiplicative. So you're just going to have to... I don't really know how to test all this stuff. So we're just going to go and just assume that more is better at this point, which it probably is. For our next skill, and this one is kind of important, it's just for its upgrade here, and it makes a huge difference. I've one-shotted bosses before with this. When everything procs right, you can just wipe the bosses right out, believe it or not. I had one hell of a time leveling up with this guy, but just like everybody else I've seen builds for, it seems to be once you hit level 18, 20, somewhere around there, it tends to get a little bit easier. Sorry, just fixing my volume a little bit. Yeah, it tends to get a little bit easier. But anyway, so Upheaval is going to be your main core skill that you're going to be using all the time. It has a fury cost of 38, I guess. I'm not sure exactly what's making that. It's usually 40, but we're getting massive damage, and then we're picking up Enhanced Upheaval, and you're going to want to max this out, by the way. The more damage you have in here, the better this whole thing rolls. This is your it's an AoE, and it does a ton of damage, kind of like Hammer of the Ancients. I bet you if you did Hammer of the Ancients, it would be somewhat similar to this. I haven't really played around with the other builds too much, but I wanted to make this one go first. So yeah, you're going to pick up five skill points in that. I've got some item contributions, as you can see, so I could probably have that at 7. We're going to pick up Enhanced Upheaval because you have to. It is nice to have a little bit of chance to stun, but we're going to go for Furious Upheaval for the very simple reason that we're using Frenzy, and how this works is when you deal direct damage to an enemy with a skill that is not Upheaval, it causes your next cast of Upheaval to deal 8% increased damage, stacking up to 10 times. So essentially, you don't even have to cast Upheaval for this to work. You use any skill that isn't Upheaval, and Upheaval will stack up to 10 times, 8% per stack. And when you're using Frenzy, it happens lickety-split. You're casting Furious, you're casting Upheaval, and then like 1 second later, you're back at max stacks, which is crazy. So it's definitely a big damage here. That's 80% right there. even when there's no stacks on there, because you have it at level 5, it still does a ton of damage. Okay, so for our next category, we're going into defensive skills. We're going to go for Rallying Cry. These are kind of one-point wonders for me anyways. Rallying Cry generates a little bit of fury. That's based on this node, but we're going to have a Rallying Cry, movement speed, get 30% movement speed, a little bit more resource generation, and for you and your allies. Going to pick up our upgrades here. You become unstoppable, which is really nice. So that means you cannot be CC'd, so you can use it to break CC, I do believe. And then Tactical Rallying Cry gives you an extra little bit of fury. That's where your fury generation comes from. Excuse me, and extra resource generation. So I think right now it should be at 105% fury generation for me. Our next main skill, and this one is huge. This is a kind of an important one. It's basically a heal. It's a free heal by the time you get it ranked up. But you pick up Iron Skin. Again, kind of a one-point wonder. Yes, you can make it better, but it doesn't get that much better. The 1 point is just fine enough for me. You steal yourself, gaining a barrier that absorbs 55% of your missing life for 5 seconds. So basically, the lower your life is where you want to cast this. You want to do it when it's real low, and then you've got this massive barrier that absorbs all sorts of damage. And then you've got Enhanced Iron Skin, pick that up, and then we go for Tactical Iron Skin, which gives you a 10% heal for the barrier's original amount as life per second, which is crazy. So you get a big old health boost there. Down into our Brawling Skills, we're going to pick up, again, a 1-point wonder, Booming Voice. You could probably get this up to 30% and be really happy with it. Just gives you a little bit extra. That will probably happen for me once we're not in the beta, once this is full release. That'll be going up to 30%. But we're going to use Leap. Leap is great for just some movement, or if you need to get in there and generate some fury. So we're going to leap forward and deal some damage, knocking back enemies, which is really nice. We pick up our, again, 1-point wonder. We pick up our Enhanced Leap. So if you miss, it reduces the cooldown, so you can use it more. And then we're going to go with Power Leap, because if you damage at least one enemy, you gain 40 fury. And all of this fury that I'm talking about, this will play into the legendaries. There's some synergies here. So the more fury you have, the better this build is going to be, and I will show you why. And it gets nuts. Like I said, I've one-shotted bosses before with this, like 10,000 damage, like crazy. When the stars align and you crit and you get all the goodness, but you're still dealing nuts damage. We're going to pick up 1 point in each of these. These are going to be really good as we level up as well, past 25. Just can't do it right now. But we're going to gain another 4% damage reduction while berserking, and we will be berserking. We're going to be, when a brawling, that is aggressive resistance. We're going to pick up Battle Fervor. Well, like I said, all three. When a brawling skill damages at least one enemy, berserking for 1 second. Leap is a brawling skill, so you're going to be landing on an enemy, hopefully, and then gaining berserking for a second. Another little bit of damage reduction, while you're also frenzying, gaining damage reduction. So like I said, I don't even know how these stack. And then while berserking, fury generation is increased by 6%, which is awesome. The more fury you have, the better off we are. I don't have anything in weapon mastery. These will, again, probably be better if you're going for specific builds, or once we're past level 25. Like, I want to take some Pit Fighter, some of these No Mercy, Expose Vulnerability. Those are all really nice. But we're going to skip all that, and we're going to come right down to Wrath of the Berserker. You gain Berserking and Unstoppable for 5 seconds. For the next 10 seconds, dealing direct damage with basic skills grants Berserking for 5 seconds. I'm not entirely sure how that works. I don't know if it's like for 5 seconds you're berserking and unstoppable, and then like it's 5 and then plus 10 extends your berserking, but it says dealing direct damage with basic skills grants berserking for 5 seconds for 10 seconds. I don't really get it, but I'm sure it works. I'm sure it makes sense. And then I picked up Prime Wrath of the Berserker. I don't know if you need it, but it's nice to have. It's a little bit more movement speed, and especially while you're frenzying, that's 50% movement speed, and more fury generation. Okay, so that's the skills covered. That's the skills covered. We're going to go back to our character here, and I'm going to show you, we're going to go through our gear first, and then I'll talk about the legendaries. So basically what I'm looking for, not necessarily any stats specifically. Strength is nice. Willpower, they're all nice stats. They all do different things as you're going. But basically what I'm looking for is core damage, critical hit damage, anything that gives me damage basically is what I'm looking for. Not all of my gear is perfectly rolled. I'm not even sure what you can get on what pieces at this point. So right now I've got 12 strength, some lightning res, cold res, 8 willpower for the helmet. For the armor, another just flat 2.5% damage, 11 dex. I've socketed in a little bit of maximum life to help out. These gauntlets were an amazing find. I was very happy with these. That's where our +2 ranks of Upheaval were. This is how they came. I didn't change anything. 4.8 critical strike chance aside from leveling it up. Willpower and dexterity. I'll go over the legendary powers after, like I said. For pants, we got some maximum life, 12 strength. I literally cannot find any better pants for whatever reason. And this barrier is huge. Again, we'll talk about that in a minute. I like these boots because you get +1 evade charge. I got a little bit of movement speed, fury cost reduction, fortify. Again, nothing crazy. Just basic stuff. Nothing's, god rolled or anything. We've got a big maul for our bludgeoning. We're sitting at 40 strength. Damage to close enemies, that's another big one. Damage to close enemies, vulnerable damage, and then we've got basic skill damage, so that's going to increase your frenzy. And then I've socketed in more basic skill damage just to help out with that frenzy, just to keep it going and actually do damage. I'm using a sword and an axe, even though that might not be perfect. Like I said, gear just is what it is. A little bit of core damage plus to all stats. I'm trying to roll that off and get something else, but we've got some core skill damage, damage to close enemies, critical strike damage. Our axe is, again, core skill, basic skill, damage to close enemies, socketed with basic skill damage, socketed with basic skill damage again, vulnerable damage, basic skill, core skill damage, and strength. Like I said, it's all pretty straightforward stuff that you guys can all get. This was a pretty good find. I think I gambled for this one. I had basically a level 3 version of it, and this was the same but slightly better. Damage reduction while fortified, +1 rank of all defensive skills, so that's your Iron Skin and your whatever that Rallying Cry or whatever it was. 1.5% damage, +1 rank of Brawling Skills, so that helps your leap. This is a big one too for the legendary power. I socketed in +100 armor on this one because I didn't think there was anything else that was worth doing, at least currently, and I'll explain exactly why I did it in a second. For the rings, I've got max fury, critical strike chance, physical damage, again nothing crazy, critical strike damage, damage to close enemies, and physical damage. Here's where the magic happens. So we'll go through the legendaries. Becoming injured while crowd controlled grants you unstoppable for 4 seconds. This effect has a 36-second cooldown. I've got an upgraded version of this. I just haven't been able to quite put it on, finding the right gear pieces. This is really nice if, for whatever reason, you get crowd controlled and it happens where you're getting chained together, 2, 3, 4 crowd controls. It does happen on occasion.
Impressive.
Hopefully this pops you out because you've become injured and now you're unstoppable for 4 seconds. You can leave, you can heal yourself, you can do whatever. And the shorter cooldown is always preferable. I have a 28-second one. And like I said, I just can't figure out how to fit it in quite yet. Bone Weave armor of anemia. This guy is not entirely good. Direct damage against bleeding enemies has 32% chance to stun them for 2 seconds. Whatever. This, like I said, the gauntlets here, these were a great find. Your basic skills gain 27% attack speed. Thank you for a frenzy build. Thank you. Thank you. I had some gauntlets earlier, or gloves, whatever, and they were okay. They were just stat sticks, basically. And then these things dropped, and it was like, all right, I don't even care. These weren't as good. Like I said, I've got willpower and dexterity. They weren't even as good. I'm just taking it for the attack speed, for sure. And it had a rank of Upheaval, which then upgraded as I went here. This is really, I don't know if it's important, but it's really nice to have. Damaging an elite enemy grants you a barrier, absorbing up to 513 damage for 10 seconds. And it can happen every 30 seconds. So you're getting pretty big barriers every once in a while. Damaging an enemy with a core skill has up to a 38% chance to extend the duration of berserking by 1 second. Double this duration if it was a critical strike. So if you're hitting those critical strikes on your Upheaval, you can be extending your berserking. You're switching back to frenzy. You're back and forth frenzy with your Upheaval. It can get pretty nuts. This was a really nice find as well. The imprinted legendary. I don't remember what I got it off of. But it has skills deal up to 54% increased damage based on your available primary resource when cast, receiving the maximum benefit while you have full primary resource. And again, this is what we're talking about. This is where the having max fury and quick resource generation, getting those quick hits in. This is where it all starts to come together, like based right around this item and the 80% extra damage for Upheaval. This item, and then there's one more that it helps us out a ton. So I mean that's giving us 108%. No, sorry, 54%. Oh, that's why. Because it was half. That's right. Because the item that I got it off of, I broke the item down and it became an aspect. And then when you put it into a two-handed weapon, it doubled the efficiency. So I think it was 27% before. That's what it was. So yeah, so it actually doubles, but we're dealing 54% increased damage based on your available resource. So you want that to be maxed out. This was, whatever. You gain 23% increased critical strike chance against injured enemies. While you are healthy, you gain 45% crowd control, increased crowd control duration. That's nice. While I'm healthy. Truth be told, I'm rarely ever healthy because, as you can see, my health pool right here, just because of where are we here? Iron skin. Because you want to be, the lower you are for your health, the better off you're going to be. So that doesn't really help. Critical strike chance against injured enemies is nice. A little bit of extra damage right at the end. This axe doesn't have anything on it. So I still have to I've got to find a good aspect to put on there. This was really nice. So each point of fury, I had a cheaper version of this, and it was 2% and 60% max. This tripled what I can do here. So this is the other piece that's huge. Extra damage when you're at max fury. Each point of fury you generate while at max fury grants your next core skill 6% increased damage up to 180%. And when you're frenzying and you're at max fury, you leap in, you gain 40 fury, you're frenzying like crazy. All of a sudden you're at max fury. All of a sudden you've built up your stacks on your Upheaval, and you've maxed out this extra 180%. Even if it's 60%, I think that's the low one. I think it was 1 or 2, 4, and 6% for the buff here, because mine was 2%, but maybe it scales differently. I don't know. But I've got 6% and then goes up to 180%, which is monstrous. It's huge. And then this one is important, and yeah, okay, so this is the other one that is kind of important. Not necessary. I didn't find it until a little bit later, and it just helps keep you alive. Just a little bit, because you're never maxing this thing out. That would be insane. You'd have to stack it up to like 100 times. But you gain 0.6% increased armor for 4 seconds when you deal any form of damage, stacking up to 60%. And that's why I stacked on a little bit extra armor, so that my armor stat right here will just start, it'll just go up as we're doing damage. So it's just a little bit more armor, more damage reduction, a little bit of something something. Sorry if I'm going all over the place. I play with a controller. I have mouse and keyboard, obviously, but I find it, maybe it's easier to do it this way. Yeah, the last legendary ability we're talking about is when you deal direct damage while berserking, you inflict 28% of the base damage dealt as an additional bleeding damage over 5 seconds. So just a little bit of extra damage. But like I said, you're building up your max fury, or not your max fury, but you're building up your fury. And then you're gonna run in there and use your upheaval and do a huge amount of damage. So we're gonna go find something to do here. I'll show you some gameplay. And yes, I am playing right now. This is not pre-scripted, so whatever happens, happens. If I die, I die. But that's the other nice thing about this. I very rarely ever die anymore. If I die, I have done something seriously wrong. I fought the butcher for the first time here, and I destroyed the butcher. Oh, we just missed the... That's a bummer. Okay, well, let's go somewhere else then. Let's go do a dungeon. Can we do this one? Yeah. We'll travel here. We'll go do a dungeon. We just missed the public event that was there. That would have shown you the capabilities of this build. But like I said, I have had 0 problems since getting this build rocking and rolling. Leveling up was a challenge, at least for me. I played all of the closed beta last weekend. Well, I shouldn't say I played all of it. I played what I could. I was sick. So that was not exactly fun. Okay, where are we going here? I had this whole big plan, and then that public event didn't play nicely with us. Had this whole big plan, I had it all set up that I could just teleport back. We'd go do a public event so I could show you, and we'd be off to the races. But that didn't work, did it? So we'll go in here. Just trying to find the closest dungeon to us. I won't go through the whole thing, but we'll go do the dungeon here. So I do apologize that it's taking longer than it should. I was hoping to be done the gameplay part by now, but it is what it is. Oh, come on.
I can't do that.
Sorry guys. I might go in and edit this. I'm not sure. My apologies. So many times the dungeon's laid out a little bit differently. So usually the first thing I do is I'll hit Y. I'll do my resource generation. You can leap in here, take a swing back, hit that. Look at that. There was 4,400 damage to some of those guys. Frenzy's doing a good chunk.
I must wait.
So we don't have to do anything crazy here. Let's send that through the open door. Get another leap going here. There we go. There we go. There was over 5,000 there.
I must wait.
There we go. Then maybe I'll pop our iron skin there, and you can see we're gaining health. This is a terrible dungeon. This is absolutely awful. I'm so sorry, guys. This is an awful dungeon to be trying to show you guys something. That's why I wanted that public event, so that we could get a boss or we could get something.
It's locked.
Oh God, this is truly awful. They have got to work on these dungeons. They're so bad. I mean, I guess the point is you're getting the gist of it here. Let me pop that. Let me pop my Wrath of the Berserker. You can swing through. Get over here. Do this. Protection Shrine. Cool. Like, I'm doing pretty decent damage just with Frenzy alone. I like to try and reposition. Like, look at that. I'm just clearing out that whole area. So. Clearing out that entire area with just one swing. And if you watch the bottom of the screen, so you can see I've got stacks of armor right now. Where are we here? Oh, for God's sakes, one enemy left? Okay, my stacks of armor disappeared, of course, because I was talking about it. You can also use this for a little bit of movement speed. So, ooh, I think that was a 10,000 damage hit.
I'm not ready yet.
What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so down in the bottom here, you can see I've already got 2 stacks. Got 2 stacks built up on this, and those don't disappear; they stay forever. It's the same as the 180% damage. Roll out of the way, swing back on in here. Wrath of the Berserker, Fear Generation. There we go. Just crushing through. Iron Skin. Look at that. There's 10,000% damage right there. Or 10,000%. 10,000 damage right there. I don't know why you have to activate levers as well as destroy those things, but whatever. Okay, let's see if we can find an elite. Can we find an elite? Get in there. There we go. Wrong button. So, as you can see, no, it's not perfect, and there's a lot of things I'm missing. I'm probably missing more damage on. I'm probably missing more damage on some of my weapons. More legendary aspects. I know, like, I don't have 2 right now. Got 1 there, 2 there. I can re-roll this to have a 28-second cooldown. There's another one here that doesn't really do anything. This direct damage against bleeding enemies doesn't really do anything. Well, I mean, it kind of does when you combine it with this one, the Berserking one. But anyways, that's all I wanted to show you guys. That's the build video. It is what it is. You've got Frenzy, Upheaval, Rallying Cry, Iron Skin, Leap, Booming Voice, your Brawling passives, Wrath of the Berserker, and then all their constituent upgrades. And you can mix and match a little bit. This is by no means the be-all, end-all build. It's just a build I like. I'm having fun with it, and I feel like I'm super tanky, and I'm still pretty low. I've only got 507 attack power. Excuse me, I'm actually still sick. I've heard of people that have over 1,000. Like, it's probably low life, low armor. There's a lot of room for improvements here. All my gear's like level 15, 17. There's only one I have that's level 20 right here. So, excuse me, I'm so sorry. But anyways, I want to thank you guys for hanging out. If you like the video, hit that thumbs up button, leave a comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys would change, what you like about it, what you don't like. I'm sorry that I didn't get a very good gameplay footage for you guys, but I'll try and catch a little bit more gameplay doing some public events here in the next few hours, and then I can put that out and show you guys a good farming spot. Anyways, I want to thank you guys for hanging out. I will catch you next time. Peace, YouTube.